Okay, so we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are on this chapter. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. We'll read what Prabhupada says, 4:12:11. Sarvatmyanayachute sarve tivrogham bhaktim udvahan darshatmani bhuteshu tam evavasthitam vibhum. Dhruva Maharaj rendered devotional service unto the Supreme, the reservoir of everything, with unrelenting force. Tivra Augham. Tivra is with great intensity. Unrelenting force means with great determination. Yeah, let me share my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Thank you for reminding. While carrying out his devotional service to the Lord, he could see that everything is situated in him only, and that he is situated in all living entities. So, as one becomes purified in heart, then he sees everything as Krishna's energy, meant to be engaged in Krishna's service. In illusion, we see it separately. We see separately from Krishna. We think it's for my enjoyment. But when we see that the energy is belonging to the energetic, then we want to use the energy. My body is also the energy of the Supreme Lord, because it is made up of earth, water, fire, and ether. And these are also the ingredients, Krishna says, which are his energy. And then the soul is also Krishna's energy, Tatashta Shakti. So everything belongs to Krishna. And Krishna is also present in everyone as the Paramatma. The Shirodakshai Vishnu expands as Paramatma in all the living entities. So he sees, like yesterday we were hearing how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would see a hill in Nilachal and he would think it is
Govardhan.
Govardhan Hill. So like that, everything, he would see the cloud and it would remind him of Krishna. The color of cloud is Krishna. So yeah, so then they see that Krishna, because they are always thinking of Krishna. So everything reminds them of Krishna. There was one devotee, what was his name? He was fanning somebody and he saw a peacock feather.
Mukunda.
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 He was fanning.
Mhm.
And then
I mean, a servant was fanning the king with the peacock feather, and he lost his consciousness as he was reminded of Krishna and he fell down so many stairs down.
now we may think this is hallucination, somebody is saying something that is not. No, but just like when there is love, Prabhupada says, when you look at my glasses, spectacles, as we call in India, here we call glasses, then it reminds you of Prabhupada. Oh, these are Prabhupada's. Like we went to Vrindavan and we saw so much paraphernalia which Prabhupada used. So, oh, this is Prabhupada's paraphernalia. So everything belongs to somebody, and that somebody is actually the Supreme Lord Krishna. So we are supposed to see every jiva as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunicheva Supakecha Pandita Samadarshina. And not for my enjoyment, but for Krishna's enjoyment. So that shift in consciousness is the change from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. So material consciousness means I'm thinking everything is meant for my enjoyment. And spiritual consciousness means everything is meant for Krishna's enjoyment. So this is meant to, spiritual life is meant to bring about that shift in consciousness. by all this process of chanting, hearing, is ultimately to. Then, if everything is meant for Krishna's enjoyment, then how will I enjoy? Will I get enjoyment? Yes, you will get enjoyment. By giving pleasure to Krishna, you will be the most satisfied. And by trying to find pleasure yourself independently of Krishna, you will actually be dissatisfied. The example is given that a leaf, when it is on the tree and it cooperates with the tree for making the food, right? Photosynthesis, chlorophyll is there, and then it's very healthy. But the leaf says, no, I will do my own thing, and it disconnects from the tree. Then it will become brown, it'll start withering, drying up, like that. So when our consciousness is disconnected from Krishna, which is most of the people in this material world, that's why we are going through this struggle in life of birth, death, old age, and disease, and all the other problems that come, because our consciousness is disconnected from Krishna. That's why we are experiencing all kinds of fear, anxiety, misery, like that. So the Lord is called Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty to give protection to his devotees. Achyuta also means he never comes under
Falls down. He never comes under the material modes.
material modes. Material modes means Rajogun, Tamogun. We can observe in our life, right? Sometimes we are in Rajogun. Mostly we are in Rajogun and Tamogun. Prabhupada says in Kali Yuga. Rajogun means passionate desires. Strong desire for sense gratification is the characteristic of the mode of passion. The desire for name, fame, honor, and big material ambition, like Dhruva Maharaj. He wanted a big position. He wanted to prove himself. All these things, the desire for all the sense, that is the mode of passion. So most of us in this material world are affected by mode of passion and mode of ignorance, a laziness in spiritual life, like that. Like yesterday, Prabhu was saying, we are only here for a few days. We are only here for a few days. Means in this human form of life, we are just passing through for a few years maybe. But that's like, compared to eternity, it's just like few moments. And in that few moments, we are thinking, I will do this, I will do that, I will achieve this. And at the end of the life, that you can't take anything with you, and then you go into again another species of life in another cycle, another species of life in the cycle of birth and death. So like that, and then you repeat the whole thing again. It doesn't make sense. If you think from a bigger perspective, it doesn't make sense. Insanity means to do the same thing over and over again and to expect
a different result.
A different result. So same thing. It's called Puna Punascharvita Charvananam, chewing the chewed. We are doing the same sense gratification in different species of life, and it's going to give the same kind of situation again and again and again. Birth, death, old age, disease. Birth, death, old age, and disease. And all the struggle that ensues in between birth and death. So intelligent person takes a step back. Means he says, he observes what's going on in my life. What am I trying to achieve? What is this purpose of this short life? Why am I here? And he asks these questions, and then he meets a devotee and he gets the answers. So he molds his life according to Krishna's direction. So, because nobody is interested in spiritual life in this day and age, mostly people are not. It is more ritualistic, or if they engage in some religious activities, it is for like just to get sense gratification, to get material benefits. But actually, the more we indulge in sense gratification, the more there will be dissatisfaction and there will be no peace. So the more we refrain from sense gratification, we'll be peaceful and we'll be more like happy, and there'll be less anxiety, less agitation, and we can focus on Krishna. Our senses will not be pulling us towards sense objects. The senses can be directed towards Krishna. And we will not die if we don't get sense enjoyment. We are not going to die. So Rather, we'll be peaceful, we'll be happy, and if we chant Hare Krishna, then we'll become very, very blissful. If we chant Hare Krishna, if we serve Krishna. So, this is the whole program to take away mind from sense gratification and attach it to Krishna. And that is difficult because mind is very stubborn, stubbornly attached to all these material desires. So we have to observe the mind and all our desires and eradicate or just don't think of those desires that will give us, repeated birth and death and all the mental agitation. And so we have to observe our desires. Spiritual life is actually change of desires. From desiring sense gratification, we are now desiring to serve Krishna's senses. It's not all about me, it's all about Krishna. That's the shift in consciousness. So we are supposed to change our consciousness, and that is what it means to change consciousness, means to change our desires from material desires to spiritual desires. So the Lord is called Achyuta, and that's a project. It can happen overnight, like it happened with Bilva Mangal Thakur, immediately. But generally, because we are so addicted, it's a slow process. But it can be slow as much as it depends on how much we want it, how much desperate we are, how much really, really from the core of our heart we want. To that extent, the transformation of heart will happen. So the Lord is called Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty to give protection to his devotees. And Krishna, Kaunteya Pratijanihi,
Name Bhaktya Pranashyati.
Name Bhakta Pranashyati.
Declare it boldly, Arjun, my devotee will never perish.
Why is he telling Arjun to say? Because
Krishna is going to break the promise that he's not going to pick up any weapon, because he will pick up the weapon to protect Arjun and also to protect the vow of Bhishma.
Okay, so
I also pasted the whole, Prabhupada's quote. The whole materialistic advancement of human civilization is like the decoration of a dead body. Everyone is a dead body, flapping only for a few days, and yet all the energy of human life is being wasted in the decoration of this dead body.
So I often give this, yeah, I want to say something.
We have limited energy. If we waste our energy in, material pursuits and sense gratification, then we're going to waste this human form of life. And this body is going to be dead. Like when we burn the body, it's going to convert into ashes or stool or three things, right? Stool, ashes, or worms. So why waste your lifetime in giving enjoyment to this body which is already dead? And if we engage in these activities, then we'll get another body next life and many different situations, and we can see people are in so much difficult situations. So there is always a possibility of getting into a very difficult situation and so much distress. So,
Prabhupada says in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, he says, if one has 50 years ahead in his life, 50 years, then he should use that short span of time that he has in the pursuit of self-realization, in Krishna consciousness. He says like that. He says 50 years is a short time. So we don't even have 50 years left. Probably will not live if you add 50 years to your life. You may not live that long. So it's very, very short. It's flapping only for a few days. And from Brahma's point of view and like that, our time is very short in this human life. So many people, unexpectedly, they passed away. Right? Suddenly they had cancer, they went to the doctor, they have stomach ache. What is the problem? I'm having so much stomach ache. And they say, oh, you have 4th stage pancreatic cancer. Done. So like that.
sudden strokes, and we heard of many of those examples in our travel.
Yeah, so it's just a few years. So why waste all the time in investing in something that is I cannot take with me? It's all temporary things. To build up an empire, which will ultimately, I have to leave and go. So Chanakya Pandit says, what? A person.
A person who gives up eternal for the temporary ultimately loses both.
So rather we should use our time in chanting Hare Krishna, in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, in distributing books of Srila Prabhupada, in giving Krishna consciousness to others, in all these 9 processes of devotional service. That is what we should use our time in. Also, we can work. Krishna says Krishna doesn't say that we to stop. We can work, but use the fruits of our work to serve Krishna. So, to whatever degree, because we have to maintain ourselves. So we have to work simply, because at the end of the day, we are not going to, even if we have 10-bedroom house, we are going to live only in 1 bedroom, right? And even if we have a lot of money, how much? We'll eat only 2 chapatis or 3 chapatis or 5 chapatis at the most. So it is just an idea that, I will have more money than I will be. If you have more money, then you can retire and you can serve Krishna. Or if you have more money, then give it to Krishna. Help in propagation of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, all these things will bind you in this material world. And you cannot improve the situation. Sometimes you think, I will do this technological, some improvement in this world, some scientific invention, which will change, the course of the world. But no, it's not going to change. Of course, if you have a scientific research job, yeah, then you can, because it's a job you have to do, but you have to also understand that the material science cannot solve the problem of death, old age, disease, and birth. Of course, how is birth a problem? Well, birth is a problem because we are not supposed to. We are suffering in the womb, and then we come out of the womb, and again and again we are going to the womb of different mothers. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Iha sansare bahudushtare, kripaya pare pahi murare. Shankaracharya, in his Bhaja Govindam, he says this. I'm going through birth and death repeatedly and suffering all kinds of, from one womb of one mother to next. Sometimes I'm in a human mother's womb, sometimes I'm in a pig mother's womb, sometimes I'm in, as an egg I'm born, like a snake lays eggs. So sometimes I'm in an egg. So like that, reptiles, mammals give birth to their humans, like they give birth, and reptiles lay eggs. So sometimes we are in an egg, sometimes this, sometimes. So different kinds of birth we have gone through. So let us use this birth for chanting Hare Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. Close our chapter in material existence once and for all. Let us use our time in that pursuit. So that is what this human life is meant for. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata. Jivasya tattva jigyasa narthoyasyeha karma bhi. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should only desire a healthy life or self-preservation, and nothing else but inquire into the absolute truth should be the goal of one's work. This is Bhagavatam speaking to us. So, not only did Dhruva Maharaj perform many sacrifices, but he carried on his transcendental occupation of engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. So, he was doing his duty as a king in devotional service. The ordinary karmis who want to enjoy the results of fruitive activities are concerned only with sacrifices and ritualistic ceremonies, as enjoined in Vedic Shastras. Although Dhruva Maharaj performed many sacrifices, in order to be an exemplary king, he was constantly engaged in devotional service. So those sacrifices are also for Vishnu. The Lord always protects his surrendered devotee. He was constantly engaged. Satatam. uninterruptedly. A devotee can see that the Lord is situated in everyone's heart, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshu arjuna tishtati. Ishvara means Krishna. Sarva bhutanam means all living entities. Hrideshe means in the heart. Arjuna, O Arjun, tishtati, situated. Krishna is present in everybody's heart. And what is he doing there? Why is he there in our heart? Because he's waiting. He's waiting for us. Because we are the soul, we are also in the region of the heart. And Krishna is our next door neighbor, you could say. He's next to us, just sitting with the soul, thinking, and because he's very affectionate to the soul, so he's accompanying us. Like my father used to accompany when I was younger. My father used to accompany wherever I used to go. He would, father, mother, they would come with me like that, you know, just to see that I am not in any difficulty, I am protected. So Krishna is coming with us in every species of life and every, but only in human species of life we can actually perceive his presence in the heart by the process of yoga like that. And Krishna is waiting to take us back home, back to Godhead, because he's also suffering. If a child suffers, the parents also suffer. So Krishna is also suffering in the sense that he's in anxiety. He's in anxiety about his crying for us. When will this jiva come back to me? So, and we have turned away from him. We are enjoying, we are thinking we are enjoying, but it's all illusion. So Krishna is just thinking that what can I do to bring this soul closer to me? He's always thinking, what can I do? Ordinary persons cannot understand how the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, but a devotee can actually see him. Not only can the devotee see him outwardly, but he can see with spiritual vision that everything is resting in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as described in Bhagavad Gita, Matsthani Sarva Bhutani. That is the vision of a Mahabhagavat. He sees everything others see, but instead of seeing merely the trees, the mountains, the cities, or sky, he sees only his worshipable Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything, because everything is resting in him only. What verse is that?
He sees everything.
Tower dekhi, jangam dekhi.
जंगम देखे ना देखे तारा मूर्ति सर्वत्र है निज इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. Also, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Chamay Pashyati Tasyam Na Pranishami Sajamya Na Pranish. One who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. I've never lost him, nor is he ever lost him.
And Krishna gives some examples how we can see him everywhere. He says, Prabhashmi Shashi Suryayo. Whenever you see sunlight, you should think, oh, this is Krishna's moonlight, Sashi. Whenever you taste water, like that, so think that the taste of water is Krishna when you drink. So like that, he says, you should see me in this creation. So initially it is practice, and then it becomes spontaneous. This is the vision of Mahabhagavat. In summary, a Mahabhagavat, a highly elevated pure devotee, sees the Lord everywhere, as well as within the heart of everyone. So also the devotee sees all situations as arranged by Krishna for his purification. So, of course, it's not like we do something wrong and then we say, oh, this is Krishna's arrangement, like that. Or like if I offend somebody or I kill somebody and you say, oh no, this is Krishna's, I'm seeing Krishna in this situation, I'm killing him. If it is bona fide, yeah, as Arjuna was doing, then it is. But otherwise, not that we think that everything is Krishna's arrangement and I am not acting according to his direction. And I'm cheating and I'm doing offenses and then I'm thinking, no, this is Krishna's arrangement. Not like that. Then we will never be able to improve, because then we'll justify everything. So this is possible for devotees who have developed elevated devotional service to the Lord. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanina. Only those who have smeared their eyes with the ointment of love of God, Godhead, can see everywhere the Supreme Lord face to face. It is not possible by imagination or so-called meditation. So it is not imagination to see the Lord everywhere. When there is love in the heart, they feel like that. They actually see the Lord. Okay, next verse. Tameva Shila Sampannam Brahmanyam Dinavatsalam Gopataram Dharma Setunam Meni Repitaram Prajaha. Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all godly qualities because he is devotee. Devotee has all. How will you recognize a devotee? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada says that he'll be a
Perfect gentleman.
perfect gentleman. So he will have all the good qualities. That's how you recognize a devotee. And Krishna says in the 12th chapter, all the qualities which make one dear to him: non-enviousness, friendliness, mercy towards others, not disturbing others, such equipoised in happiness and distress, satisfied, very determined on the path of devotional service, like that, controlling the mind. Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all good godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord. So devotee is respectful to everybody and is respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent. And he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. So, what is that verse of Madhyamadikari?
ईश्वरतदा दिनेषु बालशेषु दशस्तु च प्रेम मैत्री कृपापेक्षा यः करोति स मध्यम.
You want to explain that?
He sees in 4 categories. He sees the Supreme Lord. He has love for the Supreme Lord. Ishwarata Dinesh. Balasheshu, for the innocent, he shows compassion, mercy. Dushastuja. For the envious, he maintains a distance, and with the devotees, he has friendship.
So, he avoids the inimical, like those who are opposed, but he also wants to bring them, but for the time being he cannot. He's scheming on how to bring everybody to Krishna. Because there is God, whether we believe it or not, there is God, right? I mean, if there is no God, then how all these things came about? Then we have to believe the scientists. It all came about by chance. Life is nothing but just chance, random, So there is intelligence in this creation, and so there is God. And many times people say, who created God? Who created God? How did God become God? What is the answer?
Nobody created him. He was the first one. He created
This is
everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a human tendency. Everything, like in the material conditioned world, we see always birth and death. So in that way, there also we will see like who, when God created, gets created and all. So only it is applicable for the conditioned, I think.
Correct. Like we see this phone and see, oh, this phone was manufactured by Samsung or Apple. So we say, oh, who created it? Oh, Apple created it. And in Apple also there are engineers who designed it, right? So everything in our, like we say, we also think we are created. Oh, this is my birthday. This is my birthday. This is when I was created, when I came into being. But Krishna says, no, no. You were existing before you came into this world on your birthday. You were there before also. So just as the soul is existing, the source of all the souls, Supreme Soul is also always existing. This is the fundamental understanding that I am not this body, I am the soul, and the soul is everlasting. This thing, I mean, if we can understand very deeply that I am spirit soul and I am part and parcel of, then our whole life's priorities can change if we have realization of this simple fact, that I'm eternal and I will live beyond this body. So, so question is, where am I going next? How can I get the best next life? So then you start thinking, okay, what should I do? Then, like, how can I get the best next life? So you start preparing, just like the child is preparing to get into IIT. He wants to get into like the best educational institution, MIT, IIT, whatever, like that. So they are preparing to get into the premier institutions. So they are studying like that. So similarly, we want to get into the best situation, and the best situation is to go back home, back to Godhead, the spiritual world. Because in this world, Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. No matter where you go in this material world, there is always going to be repeated birth and death, Krishna is saying. You can go to Swargalok or wherever. So, the personal qualities of Dhruva Maharaj described herein are the exemplary qualities of a saintly king. So then if I want to go back home, if that is the goal of my life, then I should leave no stone unturned. No stone unturned means I should do whatever. If you want to achieve your goal, then that's it. I will do whatever it takes. That should be the determination, like Dhruva's determination. He said, no, I want to achieve Vishnu. I want to see, I get the favor of Vishnu. You, Narad Muni, you tell me what I have to do. Don't tell me to go home and play with children like that. No, I want to see Vishnu. You tell me. Otherwise, get out of the way. So like that. Prabhupada says like that. If one's goal is to go back home, back to Godhead, then one should do everything, whatever it is in one's capacity, and try one's best. Not half-hearted effort, but full effort. Because death is going to come, that is for sure. No matter how much you have accomplished materially, death can come. Death will come. So then you prepare for the next life. And better late than never. Like yesterday, Prabhu was saying that, Prabhupada, 70 years he came. At 70 years of age, he came and he spread Krishna consciousness. So if he could, of course, he's empowered representative of the Lord, but if we have not done anything so far, at least we can start now. It's never too late to embark on the project of going back home, back to Godhead. Not only a king, but also the leaders of a modern democratic or impersonal government must be qualified with all these godly characteristics. So they should be very saintly people. Krishna says all these kings were very saintly. They were called, what were they called? Saintly.
Rajarshis.
Rajarshi. Where is this word Rajarshi used in Bhagavad Gita?
This is that fourth chapter. Evam parampara prapte imam rajarsya vidu sakala neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa.
This knowledge was received in a chain of
disciplic succession, and saintly kings understood. But in due course of time, the succession was broken.
Normally, power corrupts, right? When you have power, then it corrupts you. But they were kings, but they were very saintly in their behavior. They were not like after sense gratification. They have a lot of money. Like in this world also, we see people who have a lot of money, they are always engaged in sense gratification. Going on this vacation, going on that, this, that, so many always. But they were not like that. Dhruva Maharaj, Prabhupada says, he was constantly engaged in devotional service. So here he said, right, he was constantly engaged in devotional service. So then he sets a good example for also all his citizens, praja. Then the citizens of the state can be happy. It is clearly stated here that the citizens thought of Dhruva Maharaj as their father, as a child depending on the able father, is completely satisfied. So the citizens of the state, being protected by the state or king, should remain satisfied in every respect. So if you have a very good guidance and good leader, then you will feel very protected and very, just as a child feels protected in the presence of his parents, who are well-wishers and who are kind to the child. He feels protected. So at the present moment, however, there is no guarantee by the government of even the primary necessities of life in the state. So many people don't even have food, shelter and clothing, the prime necessities of human life. Many people are, exposed to the weather, they don't have any place to live. We saw in Vrindavan how many people are just lying by, on the road. So there is no shelter, sometimes there is nothing to eat. So government is callous to this, but actual government should see that, the citizens of the state have the necessities of life and they are happy and they are making spiritual advancement, most importantly. Of course, in Vrindavan, many sadhus are living. They voluntarily might have accepted a life of poverty. So there are many who renounce, like Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. They were living in palatial buildings, but they came to live under a different tree every night, and they were wearing only kopin. And they were absorbed in Hari. So we cannot say like that, okay, there are many sadhus. But there is something that is, out of circumstances, right? That life can put us into so many situations. So the government should look after the primary necessities of life in the state. And so Prabhupada is saying at the present moment, however, there is no guarantee by the government of even the primary necessities of life. Of course, here we have homeless shelter and things like that. Namely, the protection of lives and the property of the citizens. One word is very significant in this connection, Brahmanyam. Dhruva Maharaj was very devoted to the Brahmanas, who engage in the study of the Vedas and thereby know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the verse? Who Brahmanas know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma
janati iti brahmana.
Can you say the whole verse?
Veda patha.
Janmana jayate.
Janam jayate shudra. Veda patha vipra. Samskar bhave dvija. And janam brahma janati iti brahmana.
So one becomes vipra. By birth, everybody is a shudra. Janmana jayate shudra. We are all shudras. People are thinking they are brahmanas because they have taken birth in Brahmin family. No. That doesn't. If you are born in a doctor family, can you say you are a doctor? Oh, my father is doctor, so I am doctor. No. That's not. So similarly, Brahmana and all these things is realized, is dependent on what? Was it dependent on Janma?
No.
Then?
Karma and Guna and Karma.
Guna and Karma. Guna means qualities and Karma means activities. So what are the activities of a Brahmana?
Pathan, Yajan, Yajan, Dan, Pratika.
What are the characteristics of a Brahmana described?
In describing Bhagavad Gita?
Samadama.
Samadama tapa shaucham shantir arjavam evacha jnana vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavjam.
Can you explain that verse?
Shama means he's equipoised or he's tolerant and forgiving. Dhamma he is self-controlled. Tapa, he performs austerity. Madhama, tapa, shocham, cleanliness. Shantir, forgiveness. Arjavam, truthfulness. Brahma karma.
Jnana Vijnana.
Jnana, Vijnana. So Gyan, knowledge, he reads scriptures. Vigyan, he has realization. Astikyam. Astikyam means?
Astha means?
Faith.
Yes, faith in this. Astikyam is like the Nastik. We have said Nastik, and Nastik means one who does not have faith. Astha means faith. So Astikyam, he has faith in the scriptures. Yeah.
Brahma karma swabhavjam.
So these are the qualities of a Brahmana. So like that. So we become, like, just as we become doctor by training, similarly we can become Brahmana by training. And so we learn to control our senses like that. They're always busy propagating Krishna consciousness. So the Brahmanas are doing pathan. They are studying the scriptures and they are disseminating the scriptures. That is the quality. This is the Brahmana likes to preach. He likes to teach. So this is the Brahminical. They're always busy propagating Krishna consciousness. He likes to study and he likes to share. And he engages everybody in yajan, means pathan yajan. Means he is engaging everybody in worship. He himself worships yagnas like that. But yagna in this age is Sankirtan yagna. So he chants Hare Krishna and he engages others in chanting Hare Krishna. He inspires others to chant Hare Krishna. And dana pratigraha. He accepts donations, but he also gives charity. He never hoards money. Whatever he has, he will give it away for the service of the Lord. So he always remains poor. In that sense, poor. Because he gets donations, but he does not hoard the money and store it. And he gives it away for the Lord's service. Depending on the Lord. So this is how, of course, we may not be fitting that category, but this is, or he uses money in Krishna's service. The state should be very respectful to societies that distribute God consciousness all over the world. But unfortunately, at the present moment, there is no state or government support given to such movements. As far as good qualities, it is very difficult to find anyone in state administration with any good qualities. All the politicians, The administrators simply sit in the administrative posts and say no to every request, as if they were paid to say no to the citizens. Another word, Dina Vatsalam, is very significant also. The state head should be very kind to the innocent. Unfortunately, in this age, the state agents and the presidents draw good salaries from the state and they pose themselves as very pious, but they allow the running of slaughterhouses where innocent animals are killed. So government has legalized slaughterhouses. If we try to compare the godly qualities of Dhruva Maharaj to the qualities of modern statesmen, we can see that there is no actual comparison. Dhruva Maharaj was present in Satya Yuga, as will be clear from the next verses. He was the ideal king in Satya Yuga. The government administration in the present age Kali Yuga is bereft of all godly qualities. Considering all these points, the people today have no alternative but to take to Krishna consciousness for protection of religion, life and property. Okay, so we will take a little pause here, see if you'd like to say anything. Anybody like to say
anything? I can recite the first 4 verses from the Sad Goswami Ashtakam, talking about the qualities of the 6 Goswamis.
From memory or?
No.
Okay. That's all right.
I'll just go first 4 and then tomorrow next.
Okay.
Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi धीरा धीर जना प्रिया प्रिया करो निर्मत्सर पूजितो श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरो भुवि भुवो भारावहन्तारको वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको नानाशास्त्र विचारनेक निपुनो सद्धर्म संस्थापको लोकानां हितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मान्यो शरण्याकरो राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्देन मत्तालिको वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको श्रीगौराङ्ग गुणानुवर्णन विधो श्रद्धा समृद्ध्यन्वितो पापोतापनिकर्तनो तनुभृताम् गोविन्द गानामृते आनन्दं बुधिवर्धने कनिपुनो कैवल्यनिस्तारको वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको त्यक्त्वा तूर्णमशेषमण्डलपति श्रेणिं सदा तुच्छवात् भूत्वा दीनगणेशको करुणया गोपीं कण्ठाश्रितो गोपीभावरसामृताब्धिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नमुहुर् वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको. So this song is talking about the qualities of our six Goswamis who are coming from the spiritual world. They were instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach Krishna consciousness everywhere. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing. They are just like the ocean of love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe. So one qualities of devotee, as we were hearing, is he sees Krishna in everyone, so he loves everyone. So if we love Krishna, we will love everyone. And so they are not envious of anyone, and that's why everybody loves them also. So even the gentle and the ruffians, they love the six Goswamis. So they're always engaged in activities that are delivering all the conditioned souls, because they see that everybody is suffering. So they want to, give Krishna consciousness to everyone. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing, studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. So you cannot preach to anyone unless you know yourself the scriptures, very nicely. So these six Goswamis, they are scrutinizingly studying the revealed scriptures, and they want to engage everybody in the service of Radha and Krishna. So, not that we want to engage others in our service, we want to engage everybody in the service of Radha and Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are very much enriched in understanding of Lord Chaitanya and who are thus expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. They can purify all conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by pouring upon them transcendental songs about Govinda. As such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of the ocean of transcendental bliss, and they are saviors of the living entities from the devouring mouth of liberation. So Prabhupada would say purity is the force. Because these Goswamis, they are very pure, they can actually help all those jivas who are suffering in the fire of this material world. They can relieve their suffering by giving them this transcendental knowledge. And also anybody who comes in touch with them, all their sins, all the reactions of their sins are removed because they are such pure devotees. So that is a characteristic of a pure devotee. Everybody feels peace and bliss in their association. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who kicked off all association of aristocracy as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted lion cloths, treating themselves as mendicants, but they are always merged in the ecstatic ocean of gopis' love for Krishna and bathe always and repeatedly in the waves of that ocean. So, like Premvilas Prabhu was telling yesterday, Raghunath Das Goswami is from a family of billionaires, and Shri Rupa and Shri Sanatan Goswami, they were, they're from rich aristocracy. They were president and, the ministers, chief ministers in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah. But they gave up everything as knowing that all this wealth, all this, material possessions are insignificant, tuchha, and the real wealth is actually love for Krishna. Krishna prema vina vyartha daridra jivana dasa kori vetan more deho prema dhan. Without love for Krishna, my life is useless. Therefore, I just want the salary of love for Krishna. So I want to engage in Krishna's service as a servant, and in return, I only want love for him. So that's the greatest wealth. And they have this wealth of gopis' love for Krishna. Gopis have the highest love for Krishna, and they also, spreading that love to others. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, so it's going to be 8 o'clock. We can stop for today here, and then we can connect later. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Does anybody like to say anything else? Anybody else who's...
Okay. And Julie wants to say the verse. She can.
She's not on the call.
Oh, she dropped. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's stop here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.